the biggest mistake, that I see with students is thinking when I talk to them that they need a brand new version of themselves. But you don't, right? You just need clearer goals. Hello, and welcome to the Admittedly podcast. My name is Thomas Caleel. I'm the former director of MBA admissions and financial aid for my alma mater, the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania. In this podcast, I don't promise easy answers or quick fixes, but I will use my decades of experience to help you achieve your education goals. Now let's get started. Hello, and welcome to the Admittedly podcast. Before we dive in, I have a real-life statistic for you. 93% of people watching these videos aren't subscribed, which means most of you are just lurking. But seriously, if you're looking into college prep and you haven't subscribed yet, you're missing out. We're starting a new season for 2026. So do yourself a favor, hit subscribe, and let's actually do this together. Today, we're talking about the new year and how to set goals that actually put you ahead in admissions. So as we enter this new year, new season, and honestly, I can't believe that we're starting a new season. This has been an incredible journey with all of you, and I do want to take a moment and say thank you. We've got an incredible year ahead. We've got an incredible year that we just went through here in Admittedly, building, bringing in families, helping them achieve their dream results. Early decision, early action was exceptional for us. We had so many of our students just excel, reach their dream schools. Stern, Wharton, Yale, many of the Ivy Plus, Vanderbilt. We will be publishing a full list of our successes, but I want to say thank you to the families and students who came with us on this journey, who did the hard work, who put the effort in, who did the things that we're going to talk about today, because hard work does pay off. So as we think forward to this new year, what does this mean to you? What does this mean to the students and families that want to be successful in highly selective admissions? And I add that last part intentionally because I get a lot of heat on social media about how I am ruining children's lives and how I should, quote, let kids be kids, and how this is all so toxic and horrible. And really, for a student that isn't invested or excited about this process, you shouldn't be doing this because it is going to be difficult and damaging and not what you want to do. And there are so many great options to the Ivy Plus, to exceptionally selective schools. Find your best path. Think long-term. Think about ROI. Think about where you want to be. But for those of you who are saying, yes, I want to challenge myself. To me, being young doesn't mean that I just want to go play outside and ignore the world around me. I've had the pleasure and privilege of meeting and working with students who are so passionate and so serious about what they do, their studies, their extracurricular commitments, all the things that they're involved in as they look around how much they want to change and influence the world around them. It gives me tremendous hope for the future. And what it says to me is that I don't need or want to dumb this down. I'm going to put the challenges out to you honestly and transparently. And the students that want this, the students that are ready and capable, will rise to meet that challenge, and we will help you. We don't expect you to do this on your own. This is very, very hard work. But the most important thing to do, the first thing I always tell students is you have to start. Whether you're a freshman or a junior, you have to start. You cannot just hope that things will get better or you'll deal with them later, because the reality is, for highly selective admissions, you have to be thinking about this in advance. Now, we've all heard about the student who just kind of picked their head up senior year, decided to apply to Stanford and got in. You are not that person. You are not the person that just won the $1.8 billion Powerball. Maybe you are if you're listening to this, but unlikely. And that's what I'm trying to convey here, is that we always have to start. I just did a series. I did a reel and a podcast on sophomores and how difficult the transition is to sophomore year, and had a lot of students say, oh my gosh, like sophomore year, first semester, you're so right. I tripped. My GPA suffered. Wasn't my best performance. What do I do? And the answer is you just start taking this more seriously. Not that you haven't taken it seriously to date, but now we're at a whole new level. And if you want to reach these highly selective schools, you have to start being thoughtful and strategic. Nobody makes it to the Olympics. Nobody makes it to professional sports by
chance or happenstance. They plan, they train, they get coaches, they get help, they analyze everything ruthlessly, and they are very, very self-aware about their strengths and their weaknesses. It's a very big difference about being self-aware and self-critical. I don't want this to spiral into I'm not good enough, I can't do this. You can do this, but you do need help, and you do need foresight, and you do need planning. And parents, it's very important to enable and support your students. And listen, I'm a parent. I have a senior who just went through the college application process. I have a freshman who just went through the boarding school application process. And I get it. A lot of times we want to do this for them. We want to spare them the pain, or we just want to make it easier on ourselves. But the reality is we have to listen to our children. I remember, talking to my oldest about his plans for college, and he surprised me with some of the things that he was looking for and that he wanted. And he was very thoughtful about his approach and why he made the choices he did, why the programs and the schools that he was considering were on his list. And, as somebody who does this professionally day in, day out, is very tempting for me to jump in and say, no, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? And we certainly had some questions and back and forth because I wanted to understand his motivations. But at the end of the day, it is his journey. And I want him to be successful and happy and grow in this process. And so a lot of this oftentimes is listening to our students, listening to our children, and actually hearing them, and then seeing what the best way is that we can get them started on this path. But again, we have to start. Now, starting is very hard work. A lot of you may have already booked your family action calls at apply.admittedly.co. Welcome. I love listening to those family action calls. I love hearing what's on your mind. And what it does is it provides an initial step, an initial start to the framework of where am I and where do I need to go? Because this is hard work, right? There is no shortcut for academic excellence in this process. And with all the controversy right now around grade inflation in high schools and in universities, admissions offices are really starting to crack down. It's why we're seeing the return of standardized testing. And yes, standardized testing matters. I just did a podcast on schools flagging students as academic risk if they have 2 Bs or more. And people were in the comments, they were fighting, they were yelling at me, and this is so terrible and this and that. But I'm not here to defend universities' policies. I'm not here to tell you you're a bad person. I'm here to tell you, hey, here's the reality of this situation. Now, understanding that reality, how do we start to work with that and through that? On the academic side, get help. Please get help. Find somebody you trust. And for some of you, that's going to be free peer tutoring at your school. If your teachers are open to it, go see them. If they have office hours, absolutely attend. Build that relationship over time. Don't show up at the end of the semester grubbing for a grade or begging them to bump you up a few points because they don't know you and they won't. But if you've been consistent over the semester, if you have showed up on time, if you've turned your homework in, if you've sat near the front, if you've raised your hands and asked thoughtful questions, if you've gone to office hours, asked for help, they will notice that. And they'll be more empathetic to helping you if you're struggling. In terms of standardized testing, in terms of tutoring, if you're looking for paid tutors, find tutors who are established, find tutors that have a reputation, find tutors who are about teaching your child or teaching you as a student rather than just giving you the answers. I did a series earlier in the year about our partnership with Advantage Testing, and I spoke with dozens of test prep and tutoring companies. And one of the things that really resonated with me about Advantage Testing was simply that they're tutors and talking, they're educators. They want to teach. They're not giving shortcuts. They're not giving easy answers. They're digging in with the students and helping them learn. And again, back to my athletic analogy, music analogy, anybody who's trying to hit a top level, a top performance, has a coach, has a guide, has a mentor, right? Nobody is playing violin in Carnegie Hall by accident, because they practice by themselves an hour a day in their room. That is years of discipline and hard work and sweat and bloody fingers and cramped shoulders. And it pays off over time when you have that kind of guidance. So be sure this is not something you want to leave to chance, and very, very important, right? And a lot of you just, I think, learned this lesson this first semester based on the comments and the DMs that I'm getting, is that you have to plan ahead with tutoring. Don't wait until the week before midterms where you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know this, or you crash midterms and then you're scrambling at finals. Get the tutors in place early. Reach out for help early. And then you can always dial that back. If you get to a class where you're like, hey, you know what? I really get this. I don't really need the tutoring. You dial that back and maybe use that extra space to dial up some tutoring in a different subject. But I get a lot of heat. I get people coming at me and they're like, oh, this isn't fair. My sophomore year, I got these Bs and da-da-da. I'm like, but here's the thing. This was entirely within your control. Entirely within your control. There are very few things. When people talk to me, they're always surprised because they come at me with a list of questions. I'm like, okay, you can't control that. You can't control what order the school is going to read your application in, or what AO is going to read your application, or who your regional rep is. What can you control? The grades that you get, how you prepare for those classes, how you dig in and roll up your sleeves and do the hard work day in and day out. So get the tutoring you need. Be in touch, drop us a comment or send us a DM if you want an introduction, if you want to advantage testing, or if there's something that we can do to help guide you on that path. Family action calls, apply.admittedly.co. We are here to help you, but we can only help you if you're willing to do the work. And that's really a lot of the work that we do with our families, is really kind of testing and seeing, hey, are you in line with our approach? Do you appreciate candor? Do you want to work hard, or are you simply looking for Thomas's top 5 tips to writing your Common App personal statement? Because that's not us. It never has been, and it never will be. And let me read you something. We get a lot of these emails. I love these emails, but listen here. This is from a parent of ours saying, we are thrilled to let you know that student got into his dream school, NYU Stern School of Business. We are so grateful for your expertise and guidance. We believe that your approach made all the difference. You were brutally honest with our son. You didn't try to change him, but let him know what he needed to be done in order to achieve his goal. He took the SAT 5 times, finally getting a 1550 at the 11th hour. He followed the strategy, even with some setbacks, and with your help, developed a narrative that the admissions officers deemed focused and authentic. I remember this strategy intake call. That was a rough call. I gave some very, very direct feedback and said, listen, I appreciate what you're trying to do. I see what you're trying to do. Here's how your application is going to be viewed. And this is what you need to do to be successful. It's entirely in your hands. And there was definitely, you can read the room, even on a Zoom call. And there was discomfort there. There was a little bit of anxiety there in terms of what was being asked. But the biggest mistake, that I see with students is thinking when I talk to them that they need a brand new version of themselves. But you don't, right? You just need clearer goals. And as this letter says, you need authenticity, because many of you think that, look, if your only goal this year is to get better grades and then figure out admissions later, you're leaving way too much to chance. This is about planning, and this is about careful steps towards success. Now, we can't go back in time. Nobody's built a time machine yet, even my smartest engineering students. But what we can do is step into second semester and start on the right foot. Start with intentionality. Start with a focus on hard work. The other thing, again, authenticity. Now, I get a lot of people yelling at me and a lot of haters on social media saying basically, you just want to craft these students and you want to just build this narrative that's totally fake. And these students just don't get a chance to enjoy their childhood. And you know what? There are a lot of consultants out there that do that. And they give you this prescribed list of things that you can do, you should do, can do. They give you this checklist. And here's a secret. And I've talked about this before, right? They'll take in a bunch of students and they'll tell them to do basically the same thing, same summer courses. And I get this a lot. Students will ask me, okay, tell me what to do. What should I do this summer? I'm like, that's not the question you should ask, right? The question here we need to ask is, what matters to you? Why? What interests you? What engages you intellectually? And now how can we work together to find an opportunity to pursue that? But what you get from a lot of people is, here's a list of programs, do these. And what they hope is that they bring in enough students that they form a standard distribution of results. And then they have enough that they can talk about the far right side of that distribution, the real success stories. And they're like, okay, because statistically, they're going to get a certain number into the Ivy plus. And then everybody else, well, sorry, it was a hard year and, it's really difficult and you had that B. And so it's really your fault. That is not what we're trying to do here, right? We want you to engage authentically. And so I've preached this many, many times. I'm going to continue to preach it. Do fewer things, but do them authentically and do them well. I don't want you running around trying to do 10, 15 clubs, right? You're burned out, you're exhausted, and then you end up being that cautionary tale that everybody talks about in the pickup line at school about how, oh, poor Thomas, he did all the right things and didn't get into his first choice or even, sixth choice school. And now he's going to some top 50 school he didn't want to go to. Well, it's because if you are just flailing around and just like getting grades, you're not strategic with your class choices, you're joining every club and doing it kind of mediocre-ish, an hour or two a week, and then you start a club with your friends that never gets any traction, you're not distinguishing yourself in a pool of 50 to 60,000 applicants. And that's just the harsh reality. And I told you before, I will always be honest with you. And the reality is you need to be doing things that are true to you. You need to be doing things that engage you in your head, in your heart, right? Where you really, really want to do this. I have, for example, a student this year who made the very, very difficult decision to pursue art. Very gifted artists. They're just tremendously gifted, but they always felt this pressure, and not necessarily from their family, but from themselves. Like, oh, art isn't a serious major. Art isn't a serious career. I have to be STEM focused. And so we talked and we did some internships and we did some exploration around galleries and art exhibitions and museums and nonprofits and for-profits and all the different ways that art could apply to an interesting and fulfilling career for this person based on their needs and skills and talent. And reading their essays now, it is this beautiful journey of self-awareness and self-knowledge and just this depth of understanding of themselves as an artist and what they need to be successful and what they need from their undergraduate growth and journey. And so it's that authenticity that is going to matter. Are you doing research because you're fiercely interested in this topic and you hustled and sent out? I had a student who told me they sent out 100 emails to find one professor who said, yeah, I like you. I like what you're asking. I like the way you think. Why don't you come join this research project we're doing? But most students, when you tell them that, they give up after a couple. Oh, I don't know. It's hard. People aren't getting back to me. People are saying no. Yeah, that's the reality of this. And that's why when you have admit rates at 3-4%, those are the students that distinguish themselves, not because they're doing it to grub a grade or try and prove that they're better than you, but it's because they are doing the hard work to step forward and say, this is what matters to me. And I have put the effort in to do this in a way that is authentic to me. For my seniors that are listening that, maybe got deferred, early action, early decision, I really want you to think about something. Okay, that's one data point. Has everybody you've met in your life liked you? No, because we can't be everything to all people. And so if you meet somebody and they're like, yeah, I just don't see myself being friends with you, do we change our whole personality based on that one data point? No, we say, okay, that's a data point. And some of my most successful students over the years have been denied or deferred from their early school and then gotten into 3, 4, 5 Ivy plus schools during regular decision. So breathe. Okay, this is not the end of the world. Sometimes adjustments do need to be made, but many times it's more about us just kind of breathing and trusting the process and trusting everything that we've done so that you are well positioned for regular decision as we step into second semester. So what are we going to do? We are absolutely going to plan ahead, but we're going to stay flexible. Do not map out the next semester or years of your high school life. We want to adapt. We want to learn as we go. Oh, we thought we wanted to be a biology major. We took AP Bio and realized not so much, but chemistry really, really sparked our interest. Be fast on your feet, right? Hold the course. It's not always going to be easy. So this isn't about simply running into a little bit of difficulty and saying, oh, that's not for me. We have to have tenacity. We have to have grit. We have to have stick-to-itiveness, for lack of a better term. We need to get the tutoring, do the office hours, and work our way through this. But it's perfectly fine for you to keep an open mind and say, I thought I wanted to do this, but I learned this, and it's brought me in a different direction. So as we head into the new year, I really, really want to emphasize that this is not something you want to leave to chance. Juniors, your time is now, and I'm going to be doing a podcast immediately following this one on junior year and things you need to look at. But you're about to meet your college counselors. They're rotating off the seniors. They're gearing up for you, and it is go time. There is not much time left between now and November 1st. I know it seems like we just went through this, but your time is up. Your time is now. Sophomores, freshmen, you have to plan ahead. Middle schoolers, you have to plan ahead. Again, not in a dogmatic, rigid way, but if we're not thinking, if we're not strategic, if we're not thoughtful, we can't possibly hope to be successful in this process. So before I wrap up, though, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me what stood out, what questions this raised, or where you're feeling stuck in the college admissions process. I read the comments, and a lot of future videos come directly from what you share here. And if you're at a point where you want more clarity or a real strategy for your student, you can visit admittedly.co, that's admittedly.co, to book a free family action call with one of our admissions advisors. It's a chance to talk through your situation, ask questions, and figure out next steps. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you for joining us today. Please take a moment to subscribe to the Admittedly podcast and download this episode. I welcome you to share your thoughts and questions with me. You can find us on social media at Admittedly Podcast.